All right, I'm gonna hop right into it. So I was about 13, probably 14 years old. Okay, I became really, really sick, very ill. My family, they were going to, it was like this carnival fair type thing, games and rides and entertainment and all that. Anyway, couldn't go, right? I was at home. My uncle was actually babysitting me, my great uncle. Now, my great uncle, he worked at NASA. During the Apollo missions, he did, he was in mission control. Okay, his wife, my great aunt, she also worked at NASA for about 30 years. My cousin did the EKGs on the astronauts, before and after, especially, during the shuttle missions, and she still works there to this day. So when I was younger, there was always a lot of astronauts coming over and people, high-ranking people that worked at NASA coming over to my uncle's house, right? And my uncle had a large, played a large part in my childhood. My parents, they worked a lot, and so I was always at his house. So I got to meet all these cool astronauts. I have like pictures and autographs I can show you guys. It was really cool. But anyway, I'm there. And like I said, my family, they go to this carnival. I'm at home. I'm in bed, very sick, running a temperature. Anyway, long story short, I fall asleep, right? Now, I'm in this room. You have to imagine, right? I'm in the room. I'm in a king-size bed, okay? I'm in this king-size bed. I'm laying there, and I feel this weird energy, like, filling up the room, okay? I open my eyes, and there's some type of, I don't even know, like, being or entity, I don't know, hovering above the bed. Now, I'm a small child. I'm 13, 14 years old, okay? And this thing, I don't know what to call it, took up the entire size of the king size bed. Very large. I'm gonna say female. If I had to guess, it looked almost like a humanoid. But the color, I can't even describe the color. It was this bluish, I don't know, whitish, just angelic type color. I don't even know how to explain this color, right? So this thing is hovering above me, and I reach out to touch it, and it vanishes. Now, I'm wide awake, and I know a lot of people will think, okay, you're probably having a dream, a nightmare, whatever. I was wide awake. Okay, so shortly after this, fast forward about, say about a week or two later, I developed just a severe case of OCD. Okay, I developed this weird thing where I had to do everything in fours. Like everything had to be pointed to the right. And anytime I'd walk through a doorway, I'd have to touch the right corner. If I placed something on the counter, it would have to be on the right-hand side. And I had this weird obsession with the number 4. In my head, I would count 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 times, okay? Incredibly odd, but I was like just stuck and obsessed with this number 4 and everything being to the right. And I remember even all through school, I would, do my homework or whatever, and I would have to put 4 little dots on the right side of my paper. I would walk through the door and I would put tape on the right side of the door. It was crazy, right? And this happened, like I said, after, I had that experience with whatever it was I saw. Okay. Now, I'm on Twitter right now, guys. I didn't even know how to make this video. I was like, maybe put together some pictures or whatever, but it's very hard to talk about. So I decided just to hop on here and just talk about it, So anyway, that happened, and I want to say whatever it was hovering above me had like this electrical energy. I can't explain it. It's some kind of, it was almost like static electricity, right? So let's fast forward about 3 or 4 years ago. Okay, 4th of July. I'm driving to my friend's house because we're going to watch the fireworks because she has a house, her back patio. You can see there's a big open field. There's a forest. And I'm going to her house and I noticed this blue orb, right? And it was the same color as the being that I saw when I was a child. Like I said, I can't explain it. It's like this bluish, electrical, marble, white, bluish color. So I see this orb through the trees, and I thought it was the moon at first. I'm like, wow, that is really crazy. Like the moon looks so crazy. Like I understand when people say they can't explain what they saw because it's very difficult to do that. So it was, but I noticed it was the same color, that I saw when I was a child, right? This weird bluish orb, right? The color. I mean, I mean, I know that color. I can see it in my head, but but I can't explain it, right? So anyway, I thought it was the moon, but I look up and I see the moon, right? And then all of a sudden this orb like starts pulsating kind of through the forest. So I quickly run up to, run into my friend's house. I'm like, oh, you got to check this out. Come look. And it's gone, right? This blue pulsating light is gone. Now, to our left, the fireworks are going off. We're having a good time. I'm a little bit freaked out, right? Because I'm thinking about what happened to me as a child. I'm still trying to tell them what I saw, and they're like, oh, it was an airplane or it was a light. It was not. So we're watching the fireworks off to our left, right? Next thing you know, we see this light. Now, the light was pretty far away. It was up in the sky. I would say if you could hold up, maybe like a silver dollar in the air, it was about that size, this circular light. Okay, it was another orb. And this light would go from I say below cloud cover all the way up to the stars within, and people say it's like a flash. It was within maybe 30 seconds, right? But look, we know there is not any man-made object that can travel that fast. And we actually have it on video because my friend emailed it to her mother, and I'll show you guys on the channel eventually, as well as, pictures and documents from my family that worked at NASA. I have a lot of old NASA memorabilia. Like I said, it wasn't anything odd for a famous astronaut to come over and have Thanksgiving with us or whatever. And I'll show it later on my channel. But anyway, back to this UFO sighting. Okay, so again, the color was identical to the beam that I saw when I was a child. So it would go about to a cloud level up to the black of night, right? Cloud level up, up to the stars. It was completely crazy. And then it just quickly shot off to the right, disappeared. Okay? Okay, fast forward again. About a month later, I'm outside in my driveway at my house. I look up, and what do I see? I see the same exact blue orb. Now, we lived near an airport at the time. I don't live in this house anymore. I moved since then, but we lived near an airport, so I thought, it's probably, a plane, a helicopter, a drone, something like that. But this craft would go, I'd say about to my left, if you can stick your arm out to your left and then move your arm up to above your head, it would kind of travel about that distance and stop, and it would just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then it quickly shot off to the right. But it looked identical to the same orb that I saw in the woods on my way to my friend's house on the 4th of July, and identical to that bluish color that I saw when I was a child. And I do think they're all related. I do. And again, I do have video of this, but back then, this is a while back, probably 2012, 2013, my friend recorded it on her iPhone. It was like an iPhone 3 or 4. So maybe check the year that they made those. It was around that year. I can't even remember. But we do have a video. Now, because it was recorded on an iPhone, it just looks like a little dot in the sky. You know how that is, right? It's very difficult, especially back then, when cameras, they're not what they are today, but at least I have some type of proof of what I'm talking about. But, and since then, I've really got the OCD under control. But it's almost like, I don't know, it was some kind of like psychological effect it had on me because, I can't explain it. And there were some weird like numerical patterns going on in my head, when I was very ill. Like I said, I was very ill, and this thing was just hovering above my bed. And then I had this weird obsession with numbers and patterns and things like that. And even to this day, I still like to figure out different puzzles with numbers, and, everything's numerical. I even think our universe I honestly think there's some kind of like numerical equation behind the universe, and I've watched, interesting documentaries on it, things like that. But, but yeah, that's pretty much it. And I want to hear from you guys. I mean, what do you make of that? Because again, I've never shared my story, and I don't want to go into like a 1 hour speech or whatever about it, right? I mean, just kind of just tell you basically what happened, and maybe the same thing has happened to you. And like I said, I've talked to a few close friends about it, family, and they all said, no, you were dreaming, right? Or when you were a kid, you were dreaming. Or 4th of July a few years ago, well, 2013, 2014, it was a plane. It was somebody's light. It was a drone. It was not. I mean, I am 100% sure it was not. And again, I even have video proof that I can show you guys, but you can't really see much in the video, unfortunately. But since then, I've really battled with OCD. And I even have days where I purposely try to put things on the left-hand side. Even as I'm talking to you now, my phone is on the right. My car keys are placed on the right. I mean, this had just a dramatic impact on my life. It really did. And it started the night of that sighting, laying in bed. And this huge being was hovering against me. And I wasn't afraid. I wasn't fearful. I wasn't worried. I was more, I don't even know. There was just nothing. I was nothing. If that makes any sense, indifferent. I can't even explain it. And another thing I want to end on, like I said, there was, we had people from NASA that would often visit, our family. And there was this one man, he was really weird. And of course, like I said, I told my family back then, and this man, okay, he seemed to almost like, I don't know, it's like he knew what I was talking about. And I don't want to say any names or anything like that. And I always wondered if he knew something that I didn't, or did he bring something into our house that, that just was, I don't know, from another world, another dimension. I don't know. Look, guys, I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds absolutely insane, but I am telling you, just hand to God here, the truth of what happened to me. And, here it is, 20 years later, and I'm still trying to figure it out. And in fact, it's what led me to, to the whole, UFO community and ufology and things like that. It's what just led me. I think I was born to do this. I think there's always been something there. I mean, I've had, three, I don't know, sightings, 3 incidents. I mean, 3 things that have happened to me that are incredibly powerful, that really changed me as a human being. I'm a different person today because of all of that. But I will say this, I hear a lot of people talk about how they were afraid, they were scared. I wasn't afraid, I wasn't scared. I'm not even today. I'm really not. It's more of just craving answers. Like I want to know what it is I saw. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. I mean, please tell me if you're out there, and if you've experienced anything like that, please, please, I would love to hear from you. And if you don't want to leave it in the comment section, just like tag me or whatever, leave a comment. We can talk privately because, I'd love to hear your story as well. So anyway, guys, thanks for listening, and tell me what you think.